Today on the Edgy Veg, I'm taking part in the INTERAC $100 challenge, and I have been challenged to throw a dinner party that costs $100 or less. So INTERAC has challenged me to throw a dinner party that costs less than $100. And while it was definitely a challenge, it was totally doable. The first thing I did when planning this party was to sit down and strategize. I knew that it had to be vegan because I'm vegan. So right there, that cuts down the costs a lot. I also have a really small space now that I've moved into my condo. So I don't have a traditional like dinner table and chairs. So I decided to make one main, one appetizer, and then a beautiful grazing table so that people could stand with their cocktails and just like graze throughout the evening. They could pick up a plate, have a little bit of the mains, have a little bit of the apps, but really be eating the entire evening. So I knew I had to strategize a couple things, the recipes and the groceries, and then of course the cost of everything. So I tried to use ingredients that were consistent throughout the entire meal, if you will, making sure that maybe the apps kind of tie in with the grazing table, or the recipe for the main, also whatever's left over from those ingredients are also available on this grazing table. And then of course the price. So I tried to look up the prices online before I went to the grocery store so I could write a really detailed shopping list. A couple of the strategies I'm going to use to make sure that I don't go over my $100 is to buy at more discounted grocery stores. A lot of those discounted grocery stores are owned by not the more higher end, but the more mainstream grocery stores. So a lot of their produce is the same. I mean, if it costs less, why not, right? I'm going to buy things in bulk, so I only buy what I need, make sure I don't go over budget, and then also make sure, like I said before, that a lot of the ingredients are kind of consistent throughout. This way, I'm not going over budget, I'm only buying what I need, and it also helps cut down on food waste as well. When I created the menu, I decided to skip the salad altogether because I only have $100, and I really want to make sure that all of the items that I'm presenting really wow. And for me, a salad just doesn't scream festive wow. I want to make sure people are really excited about these dishes. The fact that this is a vegan dinner party is really great as well. It really helps cut down costs because a lot of the more high ticket price items in the grocery store are meats and cheeses. So when I'm putting my board together, those are two things I really don't have to worry about. I paid for all of my ingredients using INTERAC Flash, which is super convenient when I'm in a rush or when my hands are full. Plus it allows me to use my own money, which helps keep me on budget during what is often a very expensive holiday season. When it comes to managing money, I need all the help I can get. All right, I've planned out the menu. The appetizer I'm going to make is a super simple but delicious bruschetta using tomatoes, basil, vinegar, and oil. So super simple ingredients on top of a baguette. The baguette will be used throughout the grazing table as well. The main pasta, which I'm going to set on the side of the grazing table so people can really help themselves, is going to be a delicious butternut squash pasta with chilies and toasted almonds. Delicious, super warming, grounding, really hearty for the festive season. For this grazing table, I'm going to use a little bit of inspiration from traditional charcuterie boards, but also make it nice and bright and vibrant with lots of fruits and veggies. For dessert, everyone loves vanilla ice cream. This is where I'm going to splurge and spend a little bit more of my budget on getting a beautiful vegan ice cream that everyone will love. It's simple, it doesn't take a lot of work, and who doesn't love ice cream? You're probably wondering how you can throw a dinner party under $100 and provide all of the booze that most of your friends probably expect when it comes to a holiday party. Most people that are invited to your home will bring you a bottle of wine or something to contribute to the bar. So what I decided to do was to get one bottle of Prosecco and let my guests bring the rest. It's a really great little trick if you're trying to save on money because people are bringing you a hosting gift anyway, and chances are it's a bottle of wine. All right, enough of the chit chat. We have some cooking to do before the guests arrive, so let's get started. I'm gonna start on the main first because while that's cooking, I can start on the rest of the recipes as well as prepping all the vegetables for the grazing table. The first thing I'm going to do is get a pot of salted water and bring it to a boil. We're going to cook our pasta and prepare our sauce while the pasta is cooking. I just went with a small seashell pasta, super cheap at the grocery store. I mean, who doesn't love pasta? Let's be serious here. It's comfort food. It has all the elements that you want during a comforting festive holiday party. While the pasta's cooking, we're gonna start on the sauce. First thing I'm going to do in a large pan is heat up 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then we are going to add our cubed butternut squash. I used about half of the squash for this. Depending on how many people you're serving, you might have to use a little bit more. This one will serve about 4 people using half of the butternut squash. I'm going to cook the butternut squash until it's nice and warm through and tender. This should take about 5 to 8 minutes. Now I'm going to add 3 garlic cloves. I've decided to slice these instead of mince them. I like the added bite that a sliced piece of garlic clove really gives you when you're eating your pasta, as well as a 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes. If you are not one for heat, you can omit the chili flakes. It doesn't make it super spicy, it just adds a little bit of a kick. I'm going to cook that until the garlic just starts to brown a little bit, about 3 minutes. At this point, our pasta should be cooked and is ready to be drained. So you want to take that and drain it in the sink or wherever you drain your pasta. First, before you start draining your pasta, you want to reserve 1 cup of the liquid from the pasta water. What I like to do is just scoop it out with a measuring cup and set it aside. Then I drain my pasta and set that aside until our sauce is done. All right, back to our sauce. I'm going to pour in about 1/2 cup of that reserved cooking liquid right into the pan. That is going to stop the garlic from cooking and burning, and it's also going to be the base of our sauce. I'm gonna bring that to a boil, reduce it to a simmer, and let that cook for about 3 minutes until the liquid has reduced to about half. Now I'm slowly going to cut in a 1/4 cup of vegan butter. It's going to mix with the starchy liquid from the pasta water, and it's going to create a really beautiful, well-rounded creamy sauce. So I'm just cutting this in about a tablespoon at a time, swirling it around the pan, mixing it in before I add in the next cube. Once you have a nice, thick, glossy sauce, you want to add in your pasta and give that a good stir. You want to make sure all of your pasta is coated completely. Now that my pasta is coated, I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, which will give it a nice cheesy buttery flavor as well. More chili flakes to taste. Then to plate, we are going to top that with toasted almond slivers. To toast the almonds, all I did was just heat up a small little frying pan, add the almond slivers, and just toss that around until they started to brown. You really want to keep your eye on this and constantly keep the pan moving so those almonds don't burn. And more chili flakes if you like a little bit more heat. All right, our appetizer is going to be a bruschetta or bruschetta, and we're going with the traditional tomato for this because it's inexpensive and also really easy to throw together, plus everyone loves bruschetta. The first thing I'm going to do is slice 1/2 a baguette into little, that's it. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna brush both sides of the baguette with a little bit of olive oil just to crisp it up really nicely, and throw that into the oven for about 10 minutes until the baguette is nice golden brown and toasty. While the baguette is in the oven, let's get started on the tomato salad part of this bruschetta. I'm gonna cube up 3 Roma tomatoes. You can use whatever tomatoes you like. I just find that Roma is the most delicious for this. Then I'm going to chop up 1/2 cup of fresh basil. Love this. Your kitchen will smell so good. Your hands will smell so good. It just adds a really nice, beautiful aroma. I'm gonna toss that together with 1 clove of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and toss that all together until our bread is great. Until our bread is nice golden brown and toasty. When the bread comes out of the oven, let that sit for about 10 minutes to cool down a little bit, and then top with your delicious tomato salad. And there you have it. Easy bruschetta in like 15 minutes. Now that we have our 2 recipes out of the way, let's put together our grazing platter. I love to throw dinner parties like this. Even if you do have a table and chairs, throwing this in the middle or using a table kind of as your platter and adding all these beautiful ingredients around, it creates a really nice community and camaraderie when you're eating. There's a lot of like reaching over the table, this, can you pass me this? I just think it's really beautiful to look at. All the flavors are just fantastic together, and you allow your guests to kind of create their own little sandwiches or their own little dips, and it inspires a little bit of creativity as well. For the grazing platter, I've decided to use a couple traditional charcuterie board type ingredients as well as some new and inventive ones. No, not new and inventive. Some fresh fruit, some fresh veggies, and of course, the second splurge on my budget was a really beautiful wheel of vegan cheese. We're going to display some of the bruschetta on there, plus putting it into a jar for people to kind of creating their own sandwiches or more bruschetta if they want that. I'm using the rest of the baguette, toasting it, and then people create their own little sandwiches using the olive tapenade or the hummus that's on the grazing plate. The leftover butternut squash, just drizzle it with olive oil, roast it in the oven. For veggies, we're using carrots and 2 different types of peppers, marinated artichoke hearts. I made just some easy marinated zucchini in some vinegar. Grapes, of course, you always need to have a charcuterie board or grazing table with grapes. They're so flavorful. I just love grapes. They go with everything. You can eat them sweet and savory. I also opted for a beautiful sriracha smoked tofu. It's a nice kind of meaty texture as well. Some breadsticks and some pistachios. I find the best way to design a really beautiful grazing table is look up a couple templates online, just see what other people are doing, or just like move things around depending on what works and what doesn't. As you put more things in, you can readjust. The key is just make it colorful, make it really beautiful to look at. You can add even fresh herbs. People can pick at that to create their little sandwiches. You can also use fresh flowers as well. All right, let's put this thing together. I just went out and I got myself a folding table because I don't have a traditional dinner table here in my condo. It's a condo for one. And I just covered it with a tablecloth and a table runner. Then I set the grazing platter in the middle of the table, a bottle of wine, a beautiful bottle of water as well. It's not a beautiful bottle of water. And a bottle of water as well, and glasses on one side, plates and cutlery on the other, and then the pasta on the other side. In this way, it's almost like potluck style, but people will be, you know, helping themselves to some wine, getting their little plate, adding some of the food, and then mix and mingle with the other guests as well. Of course, you can't have a dinner party without some candles, so I sprinkled those around as well. I already have them laying around because I just love kind of the ambiance of candles. So I just lit a bunch of those around the condo and on the table to give it that really beautiful dinner party feel. Of course, I also dressed up the veggie dogs in their dinner party festive best. So they had their own little snacks as well and got to mix and mingle with all the guests. You can't have a party without some furry VIPs, am I right? After I've let my guests kind of mix and mingle and eat their dinner, that's when I deserved dessert. I mean, I did deserve dessert, but so did my guest. That's when I decided to serve dessert. So what I did for that was just left the ice cream the way that it was. I got this beautiful cashew cluster chocolate swirly ice cream. Added a couple scoops to some ramekins. People were so full from dinner anyway, they didn't want a big dessert, just something really sweet to kind of finish off the evening. And there you have it, guys. That's how you can throw a dinner party for under $100. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and I want to know in the comment section below what you would buy if you were participating in the INTERAC $100 challenge. And don't forget to check out the playlist I made with other INTERAC $100 challenge videos. And of course, as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on awesome vegan recipes every single week. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!